Hello and welcome to this video from Client Engager. In this video I'm going to cover a topic of AML. AML is one of the most regular topics we get asked about in our demos of how do you record AML records in Client Engager, what can you do yourself, what's best practice, what do you advise. In this video I'm going to show you what you can do today. I'm going to explain what's coming up in the near future as well. So let's roll those credits. Okay, AML is a really sensitive topic. All of the governing bodies and HMRC are really hot on AML at the moment. They want to make sure you're doing your risk assessments, that you're grading clients, that you're keeping your records properly, etc. Now, some people will want to go to the nth degree and do everything best practice, and that's great. We are now building a link into Zama technology. So when you add a client into Client Engager, their records will go straight into Exama technology, so you can then request documents electronically, verify those documents, run your risk assessments, run AML checks all electronically in Zama technology. But not everyone feels the need to go to that level of best practice. A lot of people are quite happy just verifying documents as genuine themselves or getting the post office to do so, and then keeping copies of those documents in the form of passports, etc. on file and carrying out a risk assessment and grading scoring them as a low, normal or high themselves without using a third-party software. So how can we do that in Client Engager? Let's have a look at Client Engager and find out. Okay, so we're in Client Engager. At this moment in time, if we go to our clients, if I click on a individual, so Andy Wainwright, if we go to AML check, so this is what's currently already stored in Client Engager, ready for anyone to use. You can record whether you've seen the original, a certified copy of a document, whether you've not seen a document at all. You can record if you've done an online AML check, and whether you've got copies of the documents, and you can record how you physically met this person, either face-to-face, in the office, at their home, or Zoom, or not met them at all. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to build onto this and tailor your own questionnaire and your own fields to give you a more in-depth view of this. And I'm also going to show you how to be able to populate some of that information on the general client info page, so you've got a quick glance and you can also filter on the client list by this information. So where do we do all this? Well, we're going to go to our settings and we're going to go down to custom fields, including pricing fields. This is where you add all the custom fields you want. So additional info, these are the fields that sit on a client, and they're just down here under additional info. So the two fields that were on that custom form in settings were marketing source and trade. So these are here, and you can add as many fields to this as you like. But for today, what we're interested in is AML. So we'll go back to settings, we'll go to our custom fields. These are all pricing indicators. I'm going to create a new section. I'm going to call it AML risk level. And I'm going to select that I want this information to show in the AML check tab, which we were just looking at with all the photo grading and stuff. I'm going to click save. So that's the heading sorted. In here, I'm going to add two questions. What is the AML risk level? You can put a hint in here if you want to explain it. In this case, I'm going to select that I want to put it on a show field in client summary, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. I'm not going to select that I want to put the pricing factor in here. Now, what you could do is take this information and use it to influence your pricing. So if someone's a low risk AML risk level, then you might want to keep their pricing normal. But if someone's a normal or high, you might want to increase the amount of fees based on that, because you might have to do more AML work, you might have to be more vigilant of them. So you can use this information to influence your pricing if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm then going to say I want a drop down box for this question. On this drop down box, I want to put high risk, if I can type and read at the same time, normal risk, low risk, and I'm going to set a default of everyone being normal. I'm also going to add one more field here. Risk assessment date. I'm not going to show, or I am going to show this actually in the client summary field. And here I'm just going to select a date. We'll go with the 2nd of the 2nd, 2023. And there we have our date in there as well. So what does that do? If we now go to our clients and go to Andy Wainwright, remembering AML only shows on contacts and individuals. We now go to our AML bit. We've now got a drop down. And in here, we can put in that he's a normal risk. In fact, we're going to make him a high risk because it's Andy. And we're going to put in the fact that it's the 3rd of the 2nd, 2023 that we did the risk assessment. We're going to save that information. Now what that automatically does is, because I told that information I want to see that on the client info page, which is this one, you can now see the AML checks that have been done against their ID and stuff, and the risk level here. So it's high risk and it's a risk assessment date. What you can also now do, because you've created these fields, so if I get rid of that filter there, I can now go in, I'm going to add that I want at the bottom, it's now automatically added the AML risk level options that we've already put in. So I want to add that information on my view. So there you go, you can see the risk levels and the risk assessment dates. And actually I only want to see right now the risk levels. Oh, I've lost my filter. Excuse me, I'm a bit jumpy. Right. So I only want to see in here right now, I've decided what I want to see is the risk assessment, and I want to see what high risk assessments are. And that's it, it's filtered out. So we've only got the high risk assessment clients up here. So that's the first step. We've now got a way to grade our clients and put a date in there and see that on the client info page and see it as a reportable feature on here. So now for the AML questionnaire. I'm only going to put a couple of questions in just to show you the idea, and then you can build it your own from there. So we'll go back to our custom fields and we're going to scroll down. I'm going to create a whole new section just to keep this nice and tidy. I'm going to say questions because I can't spell questionnaires. Know your weaknesses, build on them. That's my trick. So I'm going to select that this goes into AML checks again. And I'm going to then start putting in my questions. So my first question might be, company's house. Now I think that's a yes/no question, so I'm going to go to drop down. Yes. No. Now for all of these questions, I'm always leaving a numeric value of 1. Ignore that, that's only there for the pricing methods. We don't need to worry about that in this example. I'm not going to set a default value for this because I want to make sure it's blank unless someone's actually physically answered this question. I'm going to save that. Now this one isn't a yes no answer, so I'm going to leave it as a single line where we can just put in information. I'm going to save that. So basically the principle here is that you can create as many sections on your risk assessment page as you want. So we've already got risk level, we've got risk assessment questions. Now you might want to have different batches of questions, so you might go geographical questions, you might have company questions, individual questions, etc. And in each block of questions you can ask whatever questions you want with the style of answer you want. And what will happen is those questions will then go into our AML check on the drop down box so we can answer them as we go. So that's how we would encourage you to start building out your AML check. Remember, this is absolutely fine if you want to build out your risk assessment using our custom fields. You can populate your dates, you can then grade your clients based on low, normal or high, low, medium or high, low, medium, high, extra high. Whatever you want to grade it as, you are the firm owner. It's your responsibility to decide how you're going to grade your clients and what questions you're going to ask to generate that grading. But by using custom fields in Client Engager, you probably won't need to use the risk assessment tools and tools like AML-CC, etc. What we still really strongly encourage you to do though is to use something like Zama technology to verify the client information that they're providing you in the form of identification documents and addresses, because this is a lot more powerful than whatever you can do using just your own Google, for example. So hopefully this has given you some ideas and a bit of inspiration how you can build out your own firm's risk assessment and AML procedures and checks within Client Engager without using a third-party software. If there's any other topics you'd love for me to go through and show you how we can work around and build things into Client Engager, please do put the comments in this video. In the meantime though, until the next video, thank you very much. I'll talk to you all soon.